this video series, I'm going to talk about many different ways to grow your business from anywhere between content marketing, SEO, PPC, anything to pretty much grow your business, get more users, make more money. Today I'm going to talk about 6 different tips to help you grow your subscription-based business. Essentially, how do you get more customers? How do you get them faster? How do you get them to stay longer? So the first thing I want to talk about on the 6 tips is before you launch, before you do anything before you even launch your business, before you even think about starting your business, get the insight, know your customer, figure out who you're going to market to. If you're going to market to, let's call it your nature box, you're going to market to kind of health freaks or health nuts, vegetarians or vegans or any people with certain paleo, whatever. Make sure you understand your audience. I even go as far as to understand my audience. I even go as far as launching ads of a fake product I don't even have. I'll go make a landing page using something like InstaPage or Lead Pages, make it look like I have a product, and just run ads. Facebook ads, I'll run Google AdWords, and essentially I'll figure out what's the ad text, what's the copy that's working, and kind of get an understanding of a CPA, and more importantly, weed out all the dozens and hundreds of things that don't work. So with that testing, I'll spend a few $100s, sometimes even up to $1,000. But it sounds like a lot, but it's much, much cheaper than going into a business and not really knowing what's going to work. Or who your customers are. So the first and foremost thing is get to know your audience. The next thing is, with any subscription product, you're going to have an email list. You're going to be sending out emails. If you don't, you should. Whether every time you send a package or your next delivery, or it's your monthly bills, your invoices, you should be sending out emails. With those emails, there's an opportunity to talk to your customers at that time. Whether it's, I'm sure you can let them know their next shipment's on the way, or here's your invoice. But at that time, it's a perfect time to talk to them. Get another little jab right when you send an email. So make sure you optimize your email addresses. Make sure you test different copies. Subject lines are huge. Look at try to make the emails a little more emotional. I think a good company that does this is Buffer, a subscription-based company, or SaaS as a business. They do their invoices. They have an email that's a sincere thank you and a picture of the team. So it's like when I see a financial statement, my mind says, oh, how much am I paying? Like whatever, I don't want to pay this thing. How much did I pay for this software? But they throw the emotion in there. I get to know there's people behind this company, and those people resonate with me. So there's these things that they do, and they're constantly testing their emails, and you should be doing the same thing. It's not that hard, right? Email is literally writing copy. You could do this yourself. The next thing I want to talk about is text messaging. I'm sure everyone has heard or read articles about marketing to and talking to the millennial generation. Well, guess what? They use text messaging. Text messaging to them is like email to a lot of the working professionals. So what I recommend doing is to integrate text messaging into your product. So Amazon does this with some of their subscription stuff, letting people know, hey, your next shipment's on the way, or let them automatically opt in or make them opt in immediately to text messages, or just understand that's another form of communication you can do to your potential customers or your current customers. It's acceptable. Some industries, play around with it, back off if people are complaining or, annoyed by text messaging. It looks like it's going to work, but it not always is the case. So just play around with it and test. The next thing is really test your pricing. I mean, you'd be surprised by changing a couple cents or changing a couple dollars or the way you position your pricing, how much of a difference that's going to make. So play around with your pricing. And this kind of goes back to number one, where you're going to test kind of what people would be willing to pay. I mean, I use Qualaroo, and I look at when somebody's on my pricing page, I ask them, how much would you be willing to pay for this? And I get an understanding of what people would be willing to pay, or I'll throw out pricing, hey, would you pay $50 for this? Or would you pay $1 for this? Things like that. Test your pricing. You can test it even without testing by just asking survey questions through Qualaroo or what have you. You could do it two ways through the testing. It's open-ended. You're probably going to get lowball a little more often than not, because you keep it open-ended of how much would you pay. Maybe people are going to put $1 or $0, whatever. Or you can ask them certain price ranges. And with that, you're going to figure things out. You're going to figure out what's working better. Try odd pricing like $97. Obviously, end with 97 or 99 on a decimal. And you're going to figure out things a lot. I could tell you all the different testing I've done. I could tell you all the different ways to price it and what have you. But you're not going to really figure it out until you actually test it. The only reason I could probably tell you a little bit more is that I've tested a lot more things, and just from experience and trial and error, I've learned a little bit more. So it's great to have a business owner to know this information themselves. The next thing I want to talk about is creating new forms of content. So I'm sure everyone here has heard about content marketing, how it's the next big thing. There's always the next big thing in internet marketing, but content marketing is such a huge impact, because you can tackle kind of before even buyer's decision. You can help educate people. You can help kind of talk to people with content. And so if you have a subscription-based product, you could probably do an ebook. So for example, if I was selling, popcorn, and my product is selling, subscription-based popcorn, every month you're going to get the best popcorn, I'm going to have a badass popcorn blog. I'm not just going to talk about popcorn. I'm going to talk about all the snacks, maybe healthy snacks, what have you. So there's things you can do around content to help educate people. I may even make the ultimate popcorn guide. How do you make your popcorn? What's the best way? Maybe talk about the popcorns of the world. What's popcorn in London? What's popcorn in Japan? What do they do on their popcorn? Things like that, or what flavors, I mean. So there's a lot of different things you can do about popcorn. Popcorn is probably such a small fragment, but you can go into snacks. You can talk about healthy snacks. You can talk about, what's a good pastime. There's the snack blog could be the great thing. I mean, I think a company that does a really good job at this is Crazy Egg. They have their daily egg blog, and they all talk. Although they're a heat mapping software, they talk about A/B testing. They talk about all these different marketing things. And yes, heat mapping is this small popcorn, but snacking is digital marketing, and growing your base is really all about using Crazy Egg is all about growing your marketing efforts, getting better, getting sharper, so they know their audience, and they really do a good job talking to their audience that would probably buy this popcorn, but they really think and want to know about all the different things around popcorn. Obviously not popcorn. Did I say popcorn enough? Popcorn. All right, number 6, and the last one, I'll leave you this, is think about upsells and upgrades. The best people to sell to are your current customers. Upsells of, hey, maybe you can save them if they want to get 2 popcorn deliveries. You can give them a 13 or 15 or whatever % discount. Maybe you want to upsell them on paying annually, right? Maybe you give them a discount for paying annually. I know at wheniwork.com, the Get Shift Done shirt, that's When I Work, we prompted people we noticed about 60 days, we have the lowest churn from 60 to 90 days of using our product. We know once you get over the hump of 60 days and you actually use the product, you're going to stay for a long time. And it kind of trickles down lower than that after that. So day 61, guess what we do? We prompt you to to upgrade to annual. And guess what? You save 13 to 20% depending on how big your plan is. But essentially, we know, and we're testing out different ways. We've increased the annual percentage by 3%. That means we're getting 3% of our customers, 3% more of our customers to pay annually. And that's a great, it increases our LTV. It increases our run rate a lot more, and I'm continuing to test those things out. In fact, I'm doing the same thing with our current or our trials. But essentially, upsells and cross sells and upgrades are a great way to make more money from your existing customers. And don't get too annoying about this. Test it, get feedback, see how well it works. This is one of those things you test and then you scale as it works, or you back off or retest and start over. So you're constantly going through this loop of testing, scaling, or most of the time dropping it, scaling, and kind of repeating. And so you're going to be going through this loop. Upsells or cross sells, great company, Mint, they upsell and cross sell other Intuit products all the time. So not quite subscription based, but you get what I'm saying. There's so many different opportunities. Well, thanks again. If you have any questions, leave a comment, subscribe back here. I think they also do it here now, or here. Yep. That's my video guys cue to add some points and stuff, and my video guy is me in about an hour. Well, thank you for joining me.